All right, what's going on, everybody? Peace to everybody. Just wanted to do a quick stream to, vent a little bit about some nonsense that I had to deal with earlier. You could see by the title, snakes, and then losing to yourself, because trying to be righteous is a battle, man, and you only lose to yourself when you fail. Nobody else conquers you or anything like that. You just lost to your own ability to control yourself or to overcome, whatever evil or lie, whatever evil comes at you. So, I was on a stream earlier with Judah Naz, chopped it up, built with people, some cool people, straight up dudes. Everybody disagrees on certain things, but people can have conversations like adult human beings should be able to. And did that for like 4 hours, and then of course, this, I don't even know what the correct adjective is, but let's put it this way: this woman who does not like me because she's a racist decides to come on. And I already had like in my mind the way this conversation is going to go. It's going to go left like immediately because she cannot and she can't have a conversation without being a racist and misrepresenting me and doing all sorts of unethical things. But so I attempt to give her a chance after just the day before yesterday, experiencing how impossible trying to communicate with this woman is. So I attempt it, and of course it fails miserably. And within 15 minutes, I just can't take it anymore. All the racist lies got to me, and I finally started defending myself. And you know, again, in hindsight, do I regret getting angry and swearing and maybe saying ad hominems like I did clown? To an extent, yeah. I sure in a perfect world, I wish I never said any insult to anybody in any capacity. I wish I would said any insult to anybody. I wish I would have more composure in certain situations. But when somebody's coming at you with such vitriol and hatred and ignorance, it's really just it's astonishing. And more than anything, it's the shock that that person is so cognitively dissonant from their own craziness. And I understand that's how God can view all of us at all times. So grace should be given to all of us in these situations because we're all guilty of it in the eyes of God. And we're that fool to the wisdom of God. So, I understand that that's the battle of giving grace to the people, who are misled or whatever. But when it's coming from a place of just hatred, it's really disturbing. And it's hard to stay quiet when you're just dealing with somebody that's got these internal personal of people or hate you know certain genders, whatever it is, hate rich, hate poor, just hate. It's such a weird such a failure of being righteous that it's hard to like comprehend where the person thinks they're not being totally wrong in the situation for them to like equate what they're doing as justified. It's bizarre to me. So yeah, dealt with in lunatic. Um, Again, do I want to use the word lunatic? Probably not. Definitely not. Would because again the title losing to myself, failing. So yeah, I definitely don't want to be using the word lunatic. But what's the accurate word is the question. If not lunatic, what's the accurate word? The accurate word is racist. The accurate word is hateful. The accurate word is uh, immature. I don't know what else to say. All racism is immature. It's a failure of uh, basic understanding of what humanity is, and that each human being is, all one, and we all share the same experience, and we all came from Adam. We all share the same blood, and we're all children of God, and we're trying to, spiritually serve God. At least we should be. So, I don't know. I hate my biggest character flaw, not my biggest, but one of my biggest character flaws is trying to reason with unreasonable people. There's that ego within myself where I don't know when to walk away from unreasonable situations. And that's something I clearly am going to have to work on in the future, because it's this ego that my faith in my own communication will be good enough to allow me to communicate with an unreasonable person when they're being unreasonable. So it's clearly partly my own ego that keeps me in these situations, because I mistakenly think that, sure, I'll be able to, um, you know, communicate with this person. They'll see it. It's so obvious that they can't miss it. But when you're dealing with a person who's coming from an irrational place, which again, all racism is coming from an irrational place, you're not going to get that mutual communication that logic would entail. So it's weird, man. And when you deal with people that, like, they just their personality just escalates things too. They talk a lot. They don't know how to, have a conversation where they're engaging with other people. They want to talk and hear themselves think, and you know what I mean. I mean, it's just they're doing it to try to not communicate with you, but to try to make you look bad in front of an audience too. Because it's one thing when you're like in private having a conversation with a person, and you guys are having a conversation and you're trying to reach mutual communication, but when the communication is public, that certain people just act different ways, because they're not sometimes they're not even trying to communicate with you at all. They're just trying to make you look a certain way in front of an audience. It's like a crazy dynamic to think that some people are just so their ego or whatever, they're just so we all want other people, if other people are watching, to agree with us and to defend us. Like, that's human nature. I get it. Like, nobody wants to have 100 people watching and see 99 comments where everybody disagrees with you and thinks you're crazy and saying the wrong thing. That's human nature. But to, like, just have the conversation to just like perform for the audience, to um, you know make someone else look bad as your whole intention, is weird. Like, you got problems. Like, you got to get your life in order if that's like what gives you joy, or that's like what your purpose is. Like, oh, I got to go here to make this person look bad. Like, when I go somewhere and I am in a conversation that I know isn't making someone else look good, my intent behind it is not to just make them look bad. I'm trying maybe to get them to see something that maybe would help them. Like, there's some sort of, okay, let's try to help you. I'm not doing this to make you look bad. I'm trying to show you, like, yo, you're better than this. I think, you could do certain things differently, and better yourself, or not hurt yourself or other people around you. You got more potential. You could lead people in a more positive manner. It's exhausting, man. I can't even front. Like, I don't care what certain people think about me. Most people, to be honest. And this little internet debate world that I don't even care about, but I participate in at the moment, which I'm not going to participate in it much longer, because it's a bunch of debauchery, and it's not it's good to meet some righteous people within the community for sure. But I think the righteous people within the community are more concerned with having conversations than the ego driven aspect of the debates. The debates are great though for um, personal study and people preparing information and doing PowerPoints like that. That is a positive side of the debate. Another positive side of the debate is it's a controlled conversation, which human beings are clearly incapable of in most situations. So the debate is a great format for communication, clear communication from each side to be heard, because otherwise, just human beings in general, myself included, will fail to give each other equal communication and clear communication. What's going on, Adrian? Good to see you, boss. Just venting here a little bit. Don't really plan on getting into too much. Clearly, I can, go to the scripture and show where Christ overcame this through not uttering a word when he was getting afflicted in Isaiah 53:7. So I guess I'll do that since I have at least one or two people in the audience here. So we can all at least see that, Jesus did show us the way to overcome these things. So here's Christ, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth, like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shears is silent, so he opened not his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people. So you see that, and there's other scriptures where, it talks about a bruised reed, he wouldn't break. I'm going to find that one too. I'm just out of curiosity where in the scripture that is. But, a bruised reed he wouldn't break is another classic about Christ, because it speaks about how he wouldn't open his mouth when he's getting falsely accused by people, which is a very, very, very hard thing to do. Like, let's just be honest here. So it's Isaiah 42:3. Let's look at that one too. Isaiah 42:3. Can't go wrong with the book of Isaiah, man. And that's why it was probably it was one of the most popular Dead Sea Scrolls book. I mean, this is one of the foundations of the biblical text. Just from Isaiah 1 to 66, you have so much about Christ and messianic prophecies. But here it is in Isaiah 42:2. He will not cry aloud or lift up his voice or make it heard in the street. A bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not quench. He will faithfully bring forth justice. He will not grow faint or be discouraged till he has established justice in the earth, and the coastlands wait for his law. Thus says the Lord God, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread out the earth and what comes from it, who gives breath to people and spirit to those who walk in it. I am the Lord. I have called you in righteousness. I will take you by the hand and keep you. I will give you as a covenant for the people, a light for the nations, to open the eyes that are blind, to bring out the prisoners from the dungeon, from the prison those who sit in darkness. I am the Lord. That is my name. My glory I give to no other, nor my praise to carved idols. All right. And obviously it can continue, but started and just wanted to give a little context to that too, because people are wondering who it is and what it's about. It's about Jesus. Behold, my servant whom I uphold, my chosen in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations. He will not cry aloud or lift up his voice or make it heard in the street. That is a beautiful verse. And it's a hard thing to practice. It's almost as hard as anything else we'll ever go through in life, which is to know you're able to vindicate yourself if you speak, but to stay silent before false judgment to the point of where you end up condemned by others around you, and you never get to proclaim your innocence in the moments, and you just kind of have to deal with it from there. Yeah, that's tough. It's a battle I obviously am not capable of winning yet, so I'm still working on it. But I don't know, so many lessons that can be learned. Yeah, I know. It is sad when people don't understand what he did. Make wages for the future. Yeah, it is sad when people don't understand the total fulfillment of what Jesus did, Adrian, because it's people, Christians, and every other people that deny Christ. There's a wide group of Christians and people that are non-messianic. They just push all this stuff into the future and act like none of these things have been accomplished when He's fulfilled them. And that's why in Luke 24:44, when it says, everything written about me in the law and the prophets, I must fulfill. It's very important to go to that because it shows you that Jesus did fulfill these things. And if you're a Christian, especially, you need to accept these things as being fulfilled if you accept the words of Jesus out of his own mouth in Luke 24:44. And there's another verse in Luke right around in the 20s somewhere. I'd have to Google it. Where it's similar about all the scriptures written about him must be fulfilled. So then it is right here, Luke 24:44. Then he said to them, "These are the words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." So he covers it all clearly with the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms. That's the entire Tanakh, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I have the link pinned if anybody wants to join. Again, I don't plan on being on here too long. I just really like. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I get it, which is the problem because I do get it, but I also just don't get it. I don't get why racism is this, you know, this logical concept of people to live their lives by. Certain people just they put race into their perspectives, and it steers their faith. They mixing race with faith is so wrong that it really is hard for me to not speak out against it because the Bible is so purposefully, intentionally avoiding race by not having any distinguishing verses about race except for Jesus, essentially, which, again, those are even apocalyptic. Granted, they clearly do accurately describe him and what he looks like, but it's still up for interpretation and people can have, their open minds about certain things because it's hard because apocalyptic language, his eyes burning like fire and, holding seven stars. Like those verses are hard when it's mixed with his feet are like burnished bronze. Yes, that gives you a good description, but it's still also within the apocalyptic language. You can understand how people can struggle with the interpretation. But regardless, besides Jesus, there's literally no, and those verses are, like I said, that one in Revelation and maybe Daniel, where the Son of Man goes to the Ancient of Days. There's literally not literally there's literally no verses that are describing a race of a person as far as skin color is concerned. You could go and reach and try to make connections when they're not there, but God was so intentional to not make racial descriptions within the Bible that it's just mind boggling how people can read the Bible and then try to use it as a racist propaganda book. Like, oh, this doesn't say anything about race, but I'm going to take this book and now make it my racial propaganda information. So I'm going to go and say, this is for my race. This story is speaking of my race. You're not included. The Bible is only given to this group of people of this race. And yeah. And you know what? Like the people are so lost and foolish. Like you should only rebuke them once or twice and then let them stay in their folly and then let God just deal with it eventually. But it is such a hard thing to stay quiet about. And, they're only hurting people that they claim that they care about. in themselves foremost. But yeah, man, people are bugged out. Um, I gotta try to avoid certain interactions in the future though, because I hate when I fail myself more than anything. Um, it really does bother me because I'm trying to repent and be better. And when you fail on the internet, people are literally just waiting for that moment so they can make reaction videos and make those moments forever and just let them live in internet lore forever for years and years and years. And usually the people that do that are like the lowest of the low. Like they are not like high quality righteous people, obviously. But they yet still have a voice on the internet and they don't go away. They still hang out on the internet years later. And then when you see them, you know that they're just waiting to mention the the random clip that they have of you when you weren't at your best, and you let some other person who came at you with evil provoke you to react in a manner that isn't according to what you want to react, in an ideal self kind of way. But yeah, it's just so like I gotta just be more like disciplined and selective on how long I'm going to tolerate those type of interactions, because it's not hard to tell when the person is going to act like that, and you even know certain people aren't capable of acting in a manner that's conducive to learning or mutual agreement even. And when you do have like slightly close to those conversations with them, it's still you always bearing the burden of like turning the other cheek or heeding their, ignoring aspects of their conversation that, you would like to defend yourself on more, but you're just granting certain silence in order to find amicable conversation with them. Those are the type of people that are not your friends. They're not going to help you grow in life. They're going to drag you back. They're going to push you backwards. Um, they got to look within themselves why they're like that. Um, because I don't go at anybody trying to destroy who they are, man. Like I really don't. I don't have that. I don't have that agenda. Like, hey, I'm gonna try to put you. I'm gonna try to make you look bad today. I got nothing better to do. Like, no, I don't really understand that. Like, it's weird. What I do understand is like trying to defend truth, and then truth makes people look bad. I get that, but just like personal attacks and belligerent racism and whatever. I mean, the same people, ironically, speaking directly about this situation tonight, a woman who I had to deal with this nonsense. The same people will cry like, "Well, sexism's so wrong when certain men don't want to treat me the same because I'm a woman." Yeah, you see it, don't you? You see how bad judging by sex or race is. Wow, your mind can grasp the concept. Now maybe put that into your mind about how you treat other people based upon their race. Because do you like it when they treat you differently because of your gender? No, you don't. So it's the ultimate irony. It's so crazy that it's like, yo, it's not fair when they treat me different because of the way I was born sexually and my gender. Yeah, no shit. So why can't you get it? Why can't you put that basic logic into your brain and say, oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't just flip out and attack people because their race is different than mine. Maybe I should not blame them for generations of people that aren't related to this dude just because he has the same race. Like, yes, people have similar appearances. That doesn't mean everybody's related. That doesn't mean, I mean, yeah, technically we are all related, but that's all races to Adam. But yeah, you don't just say, hey, you're Russian. Stalin was bad. What do you think about Stalin? Do you think it's good that he destroyed millions of people, you Russian scum? Like, what? What is wrong with you? What are you doing? Where did you get this logic in your head? You just attach people to huge populations of people from history, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. That's the type of nonsense I had to deal with this lady. And she's such a liar and slanderer and misrepresents things because within her conversations, she wants to add little lies to try to really make what you did look worse. Like she'll quote you, but then she'll add like her little lie to make it look like you really said something you didn't say and was way worse and fits her narrative of lies. But yeah, I'm totally done dealing with this one person. So they can attempt to talk to me in the future, and I am not speaking to them. They can kick rocks. That tonight was my last chance. I learned my lesson because I've seen this person dialogue with other people, and they are not capable of acting like an adult, acting like a lot. Not even an adult, just like logical. Like children could act logical. So teenagers can be logical and able of objective thought. But yeah, if you're a racist, man, I pray for you. I got nothing more to really add to that besides I don't know how to help you. Like that's my biggest problem. How do you help a racist is a good question. Like it's such an internal issue that you have emotional hatred towards other races of people. It's just a snake mentality, like Cormega said in a good song. Streets is a dirty game. Give him credit for his quote. But yeah, it's such a snake mentality to have a hatred for another race and to blame the person for what the entire race had maybe done. Like hold people accountable for their actions, sure. Go ahead. Like that's cool. All right. If people did something and you think it's this or that, go ahead. Ask them about it. Question them. Get to the bottom of it. Hold them accountable. Cool. Don't blame them for what people that look like them did or people that are the same sex or people that live in the same state or the same country. Like that's how wars and stuff just last forever because it's your father killed my father and we hate each other forever because of that. And that's why the future generation can never get peace because it's always I never met you, but I hate you because this reason. And granted, in the case of war and fathers killing fathers, it's understandable to an extent and harder, but it still just shows that it's perpetual, not good for either side. There's no peace for either side in that situation, and the resolution never comes. And yeah, just Christ is our one teacher, as Matthew 28, 3, 8 to 10 says. So don't take my advice. Just try to see what Christ did, Jesus did in situations, and then put it into practice yourself. Obviously, don't take any of these things as gospel, clearly. But I don't know, man. I wish I could find the answers on why some people are so weird. But yeah, you put yourself in situations around certain people too. But again, another lesson about me, my own ego, thinking that I'm capable of communicating with anybody. Not the case. Not the case. You need to have a partner of reason with you, a reasonable partner that is. And when people are dealing with emotion, they're definitely not in a good starting place. Racist or not, emotion is always going to be a problem for any of us, myself included. So, when I act emotional like I did tonight, I didn't perform my best, most righteous behavior I ever did in my life. And yeah, like, do I regret defending myself in the manner I did? Definitely to an extent, but not totally, because I my position is the same. I it's not one of those where in hindsight I'm like, oh man, I was wrong because I said this, this, and this. Like No, I pretty much stand behind the things I said. I was coherent. I was dealing with incoherent thought, but yeah, whatever. I wish I could give you guys something more fruitful and positive at the moment. I kind of went live seeing if anybody else would join. That's why, obviously, as always, I pinned the link. I appreciate you, Adrian, for watching, and I've read your comments. I'm not ignoring them. But yeah, you're right. Also about people in the chat, keyboard warriors for sure. They're definitely another group of people that are just as bad because they're the type to throw rocks and hide their hand, not willing to try to come to a compromise by having a conversation. But yeah, it's also like, you got to just be aware some people aren't seeking a compromise. Some people are only seeking to, do what they want, their own agenda, whatever their purpose is, whatever they went into the conversation trying to accomplish, that's what they're doing. Um, a compromise and a conversation is what usually is best, mutual agreement, mutual understanding, and heading in a positive direction. Those are like the three key things, right? But what else can I say? I'm frustrated. I won't lie. I am frustrated, and I'm not frustrated as much that I let somebody get me out of pocket. I'm frustrated because I knew better, and I even like anticipated this like entire event in the show that I was on. Like literally, I if I rewatched the show, I like predicted exactly what would occur when I engaged with this person. I knew their entire agenda was to provoke me and to try to get me to look bad, to discredit me, and you know, if they're that set on doing that, and that's they're gonna do whatever they want. Yo, what up, Judah? Feel free to hit the link, man. I wouldn't mind chopping it up with you. I respect how you played it, man. You didn't do nothing wrong. You're a cool dude with me still. I ain't got nothing bad to say. I feel where you're coming from on certain things. I could clarify certain things because I did listen a bit to the after effect. Clearly, I'm ranting about our our little fun earlier. So if you want to hit the link, feel free, bro. I know you just streamed for a minute, but yeah, I'm just venting. The title is self-explanatory. Like I said, I hold myself accountable for losing my own personal battles, try to be righteous like Christ, and to not open my mouth when people are bearing false witness. But that's one of the greatest things Jesus did is stood falsely accused and cared not except for what God thought. And that's also a beautiful situation where Christ was asked about paying taxes to Caesar, and they complimented him, saying, "Teacher, we know you are wise. You are not swayed by appearances, but only teach the way of God truthfully." Because if you're capable of only caring what God thinks about you, you will seem like you lost certain interactions with humans, but you'll never lose on Judgment Day. But yeah, it's all good. Like I said, bro, I ain't mad at you. You ain't do nothing that pissed me off. You cool. I get what you were doing. You're navigating what you're navigating, and me and you don't agree on everything either. So it's like, but I also could clarify some things. You know what I mean? Like conversations people could say things in certain times, and then when the other person puts a narrative behind it, and then it's like, oh, what do you think about this? What's the opinion? Was the person doing this? Like, yeah, I'd like to clarify certain things, and but at the end of the day, I don't know. I think mutual agreement is pretty obvious when you understand certain people's agendas. So whatever, you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with at the moment. You gotta grant certain things to people to appease them in the moment too. But anyways, yeah, nothing deep, guys. Judah, I predicted all this. I know I predicted it. I could rewatch the show and say, somebody's just trying to provoke me to get a moment, and I was right. But that's what hurts kind of about this too. Yeah, you did your best, man. You stayed out of it. It was cool. Like, I hate hate diatribes. Like that's one thing I can't stand. Like that really irks me. The diatribe shit. Just just chill with that. Like like have a conversation with me and like make me look dumb in the conversation. Sure, don't give me your speech and expect me to like bow down and kiss your boot after. Especially when you slander me within your speech and misrepresent me and everything you're saying. But yeah, I always been like, hey, what's going on, Brandon? Hey, God bless. God bless. Good to see you, Brandon. Good to see you, Chris. Yeah, you're right, Brandon. We're definitely not the only one. Amen, Chris. Acts 17:26 is where you would get that from Scripture. Yeah, again, probably time to retire from debating people because this is the type of energy you end up getting with in a debate environment. At times, you end up with more animosity than is necessary for Scripture conversations. I never have these problems at my local Bible study at my church. Yeah, I hear you, Brandon. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah. Oy, oy, oy. Bear with me, guys. I'm running out of things to say. Yeah, I'm sure they got the entertainment value. Yeah. Yeah, no, Judah, I get where you're coming from on your show, bro. You like some of the you amen, Brandon. I get it. Trust me. I get it. Um But yeah, nah, Judah, I get, just from the two times I've been on your show, man, I can, and seeing you on Sonetta in the past, I understand your personality, man. You're just having to have fun, and you want things to be ran a certain way. It's cool, mixing in fun with information and being laid back and joking a little and not having to be buttoned up every second's cool. I can get with that vibe. I ain't against it. Clearly, it's cool. People should have love, joy, fun, laugh. Life doesn't have to be all serious. Um, yeah. Yeah, Rowdy Ryan, that's for sure. Rowdy Piper coming to a theater near you. Nah, man, I just got a low tolerance for like people that aren't even trying to respect me. You know what I mean? It's just like it's rough, man. When people like are making it abundantly clear they don't have any respect for you, like they're not gonna like try to meet you in the middle, and they want to just act like they're lecturing you or being better than you. It's a tough spot to be in. Yeah, uh, I'm a fool, as is Brandon, as clearly demonstrated by everything I do. I don't I don't know how to correct everything. Clearly, leading on God would be the start. But I like to learn the hard way and fall on my face and end up in the pit, then call out to God. That's usually how I do it. But he humbles us all, you know. But that's the story of the Bible in a nutshell, you know. But I I I could try, I could try. Oh man, yeah. I don't know, guys. I'm running out of stuff. Running out of words to quantify, and I don't want to be too personal about what I'm saying. That's why I'm kind of intentionally avoiding names and trying to be ambiguous to an extent and not be personal about it, because like I said, I got better things to do than go back and forth making reaction videos on YouTube with people and getting personal, every day, like spending each day talking about each other. So I'm trying to be general with it and not make it personal. But yeah, I definitely need to just listen to what I know is going to occur in the future. If I predict something's going to go left, I'm going to try to avoid it. Just like you want to go to a bad neighborhood, or you're not going to you're not going to play Russian roulette with a gun. Some bad stuff can happen. You point a gun at somebody, with your hand on the trigger, those type of things. It's all kind of common sense. Amen, Brandon. You always do give positive encouragement. Obviously, people should keep their lives more less complicated, simple, not try to make the small things. The small things are a great way to start, and a great way to keep it. We don't have to always move on to the next level of proving ourselves. Sometimes just staying where things are easy and direct, and the obvious things a child could do are the closest things to what God is looking for. Obviously, those are the lessons that are hard for us as humans to grasp sometimes, that God doesn't need us to excel past a certain stage in certain situations. Obviously a time and a place for everything under the sun, but the more you just start from what a child could do, the better you'll be at times, because you'll just do the basics, and the basics will get you to a better spot than try to do things your way in a more personalized, nuanced, super sophisticated way. Because you'll find more mutual agreement if you keep it at a basic level. So I think that's the logical part of where acting like a child is a way more effective manner of operating. Is the mutual agreement is easier to come by, and we all get sharing, we all get being polite, we all get just basic things that a child could grasp. But then the more sophisticated or convoluted we try to make certain things, that's where we can start talking past each other, and just getting egos involved, because that's information. It gets competitive at times, especially when you have faith behind it and it's personalized from the faith in God. Yeah, you're right about that, Brandon. Do encouraging messages and stop debating with people who don't follow the Bible the correct way. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, racism's not part of the Bible. That's for sure. Nation of faith is part of the Bible, but racism's not part of the Bible. You could be accepted if you could be you could be accepted if you follow God. God is not racist. Man, people are I don't know. They're trying to always make the Bible more difficult than it is. That's the problem. Sometimes we look at the history and we want to justify our own positions through history, and okay, this point in time God did a flood, or people had to die at this point in time because they opposed the Israelites. But you know we don't know the purpose. Yeah, we don't know the purpose of things that are above us. The Bible is a book that's doing history. It's doing, prophets. It's doing a lot of things. The writings, the wisdom. It's a book that's compiled for us to use in a manner to better ourselves and get to the point of following Jesus in the New Testament, and following the Father through Christ, and being obedient to the point of death as the Son was. But anyways, guys, I'm sorry. I usually get maybe one or two people to hit the link, so when I end up here by myself, at points I ramble, especially in these type of moments when I'm having a train of thought and I'm trying to make it sound good to entertain you guys somewhat while I'm saying it, or make it sound profound, because everything I'm saying is far from profound. I'm not trying to be profound, but I'm trying to entertain you guys with something that sounds good. So in that way, I'm a contradiction. But yeah, I really am just trying to vent more than anything. And, to Judah, if you're still listening, man, I'm sorry it didn't go exactly how I would have wanted it to go, obviously. I don't know how much of this you heard, but clearly I do have regret in losing my own ability to discipline myself when I know certain events are going to go a certain way. I should be able to control myself, or walk away sooner. And that's what I, definitely need to do in the future, is walk away sooner and just say, if I can't get there, I can't get there. But yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely take up your advice, Brandon, and start staying more positive and stop worrying about trying to debate people to fix certain problems. I guess that's an environment that's going to lead to contention, as you've already warned me in the past. But of course, I had to stumble and fall in the pit to find that out again. But yeah, it is what it is. I can only move forward and do what I can in the moments in the future. I can't go back. Unfortunately, I'd change a lot if I could. But yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. I don't want to keep rambling. You guys deserve better. I'll try to provide information. Maybe what I'll do is just share some of the debate topic stuff I was going to do from PowerPoint. I don't know if I'm going to still do the recent debate or not. I could care less, honestly. I mean, it's getting so annoying to deal with certain people within that circle that, I shouldn't let one bad apple or one, bad experience do something. But
Yo,
hey, what up, buddy?
peace. Yeah, well, I told you. Yeah. I'm trying to encourage you, man. That's my job. I come around when you need encouragement.
Yeah, I do make it hard, to say the least. A stubborn, rebellious heart. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say.
Well, you want to know who else is stubborn? My mom. My mom is pretty stubborn. So we get into, my mom's like on the genius level, and I'm a little bit lower. My dad was not so much, but I'm a little bit of both. But boy, it's sometimes hard to be around smart people.
Well, luckily, I don't have many friends in general, so I don't get out. I don't know. I'm not lucky about that, but no, I don't even. The internet's where I engage with a lot of people, and yeah, I don't know. I do meet some smart people online. I think we're all personality wise just competitive at times, and it messes up the ease of just communicating, because everybody wants to be the smartest person in the conversation.
Well, I guess maybe I'm indifferent that way. What I do is I sit back and listen to what they have to say, and then I interpret it. Do I really believe what they're telling me, or is this something they believe that's not in the Bible or whatever? But I don't argue with them. I just say, okay, is this right, or is this something that it might be right, but it might not be right for me. It might be right for them, or there's some things that in part of your life when you're younger, you see something that says, okay, this is for me right now. But then when you get older, you read it and it's like, oh, this is what it really meant to me. if I would have shown a little patience and understanding, I probably would have seen it. When you get older and you get wiser and reading the Bible, you kind of like you see things differently. When you're younger, yeah, I think you get more patience when you're older. But when you're younger, you're always right. You're not patient. You know, you're ready to go to battle. But there's also old people that are stubborn in their ways and they won't change for nothing. But it's
Yeah.
a middle of the road kind of deal.
Yeah. I'm definitely stubborn in my ways. I know that much. I'm just trying to change who I was, which is not easy. You know what I mean? There's always that side of you when you're trying to be born again into a different person, as you know, Jesus said. It's not an easy journey at times because that old person is still in there if you're not fully born again. And yeah, what can you do at times where you resort to what you know and who you were, and you try to prove yourself in ways that don't matter anymore, and you want other people to see you as certain things that you used to value as like valuable characteristics, and now as a person trying to be righteous, you shouldn't value those things. Certain things are ignorant things, and you shouldn't value them as valuable personal characteristic traits anymore, yet you lean on those. At least I'm just projecting and speaking on what I do, like, oh, I can be tough, or I can be street, or I can be ignorant as you, or you know what I mean? Like I can insult you better, like those kind of things. They're
Kind of like, I think for you, it's probably like a defense mechanism. If they attack you and saying, "Oh, you're wrong," blah 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 blah, it's like your ultimate defense of the comeback. But if someone doesn't attack you, you go back to the new person, but the old person is just like, "Okay, you're gonna attack me, I'm gonna come after you," you know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but
When certain people are trying to just provoke you too. So
yeah, pull your string. And well, what I do is if they pull they get a lot of rope. People get a lot of rope, but if they use that rope up, it's sad because I'm such a good person. I help a lot of people. I support a lot of people. I support a lot of the friends that I'm talking about in the chat. When you read that, and I supported them, and then when they start bullying someone and I tell them, "Hey, you got to quit, quit doing this." And they didn't listen to me. And so once they did that, then they came after me and started doing things about me and blah, blah, blah. So, but I just walked away. I mean, if anyone uses the rope like that and it gets to the end, I'm done with you. I don't talk to you. I block you and you're out of my life for good. I mean, that's it. I mean, I forgive, but if you use the rope all the way up and you're not stupid, and then it's done. I mean, that's how I have to handle it. It's just like, I forgive you, but you're gone. You're out of my life. I don't want to talk to you no more. So
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Obviously, it's hard. It's hard. Your own ego is the biggest. My own ego is the biggest problem, where you think you can make somebody understand you, and sometimes you just can't do that. Sometimes it's impossible to make people understand you.
well, this wasn't about understanding. This was just about respecting me as a person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even on any topic. It was just like, you just keep doing videos and disrespecting my friend, and I told you to stop. You won't stop. And you keep doing it. You have no life. You want to just make videos and hurt my friend. He was up there doing comedy stretches and stuff. But when it went from comedy to insulting, and one of them called the guy's actual phone number and said something nasty about his wife. And that was like the last straw for me. I was like, you know what? I'm done with you for doing that. I mean, that's something that's below the belt, I just can't do that, tolerate stuff like that. You don't call someone's wife and say you're going to do them and stuff like that. I mean, no, you just don't do that. I imagine, Ryan, if someone said that, you'd probably whoop on them.
Yeah, I mean, I used to before I was handicapped, get in way too many fights and physical altercations. So I've never been one to bite my tongue. You know what I mean? It's like I was the guy who, if I had something to say, I said it because I wasn't scared to get into a fight. You know, and that was a blessing and a curse because you could defend yourself, but it's also put you in unnecessary violence and situations in your life, which are obviously failures.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's part of being a man at times too, is to controlled aggression. King David had that problem at times too, even within the Bible. You know what I mean? It's tough when
And it cost him. At the end, it cost him. He wasn't able to build the
yeah,
building, and he had too much blood on his hands. So
yeah,
his heart was in the right spot, but he just did. He was too angry. I think did too many revengeful things.
mm,
But I invite you, man, when you want to do a Bible message, just like a 1 minute thing, and that would really help me. You send it on Facebook or whatever about the Old Testament. That'd be great because that's probably where I'm lacking more. I'm more in the New Testament, but if you want to do something about what happened to David or Elisha or Elijah or something, then I think
yeah,
it would be really great about that. And then Benji, right? He was the one that went to school,
yeah,
and he's the preacher's son, so he's
yeah,
got a different take on stuff a little bit. So it would be great to have you, me, and Benji doing it all, and make it really good. So
yeah. I'd like to.
anytime you want to do that, you just send me a 1 minute message, and I'll upload it, and that'd be
Okay,
good.
yeah, I'll try. I think the virgin birth and the promise of Isaac is something I might do a short video on soon because that's something I never saw before, and I think obviously God just opened my eyes to seeing it more because Sarah obviously being past children bearing age. I think that obviously is a clear motif about Christ and the virgin birth that I never saw before. So yeah, I'll try to do something on that. I mean, obviously I might be wrong about that, so maybe I shouldn't do that, but I don't know. I'm pretty.
No, just try to figure it out. I mean, you take your time, and just when you're ready to do it, my door is open to Ryan to doing that, so that'd be really good. And
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate your.
it's nice. It's been a learning experience, and for you, and for me, and for everyone listening. That sometimes people will just do things behind your back, and you got to forgive and move on. I mean, you don't fight with them. You don't fight with Satan. You just tell him to get lost. What Jesus said, say, get behind me, get lost. You're a loser. Just get away from me. You don't fight. It would just take all my energy fighting with these guys. I could
Yeah,
go up on live, and it wouldn't do anything for me.
yeah,
Really.
no,
I told my friend, I said, you know what, just block him, ignore him, go on. And he's got a lot of good friends, so just
yeah,
move. They're still doing bully stuff about me, him. That's because I'm rejecting them. I'm saying, hey, you gotta quit doing this, and I ain't gonna talk to you until you quit. And they haven't quit, so that's the end of that story.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I've definitely vented more than I needed to, probably. So I appreciate your advice, Brandon. I'm gonna just call it a night and wrap it up because
Yeah, okay. Take a rest and just motivate you to help me a little bit. I need some help. I think it would be really great if you helped me. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, get some rest. I'll talk to you later.
hey, thank you, Brandon. God bless.
Bye bye. Courage.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate everybody, and Mike, Adrian, Judah, anybody who watched or is in the chat. Brandon, obviously, I appreciate. Like you said, this wasn't much of a show, guys. It was probably me just kind of reaching out to see if anybody else was bored and wanted to talk about anything, and I was going to rant a little bit and then go into whatever else people wanted to talk about. But yeah, it's 6 a.m. here on the East Coast, and I'll try to get a show with a better topic and a better point. I may or may not erase this one because I don't want to hurt anybody or personally offend anybody. And, that's not the purpose of what I'm doing. But, more defending myself. But caring what other people think is really a secondary thing. Obviously, it contradicts what I'm saying about only caring what God thinks. But it's tough when you're a human being to not care what other people think about you. It really is. That is a battle that I don't know how we overcome it at times because it's a human want and need that, it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all to, and it doesn't mean you have to want other people to not like you either. So I think God wants us to have a balance there too. You know what I mean? More so just care what God thinks about when it matters most. And, again, there's nothing wrong with wanting people to like you, in a normal capacity. Yeah, nah, you didn't miss much, Stefan. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're well too. Yeah, nothing much, Stefan. Just normal venting of personal experiences. Nothing really biblical that you're gonna learn from this one. I mean, you can listen to Brandon's advice and get farther than listening to mine. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, have a good night. God or good morning wherever you are. God bless.